Hello, welcome to my stamp studio, and this is another live version of Hump Day Lunch Break. I hope you all are having a great day. I hope you grabbed your lunch. We are going to make a cute, actually it's not really cute, it's a very pretty card that you can give for Mother's Day, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a mom. It could be to an aunt or a special woman in your life. We are going to feature the products from the Hydrangea Hill Suite, and we'll be using some of the pastel pearls. We'll be using some of the gorgeous grape ribbon. And of course, we're using this phenomenal Hydrangea Haven stamp set and the coordinating designer series paper. Can't wait to show you this card. It's fun, it's quick. You can make a lot of these and give them out to those that mean a lot to you. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started. And I do want to share one thing with you. I am featuring this stamp set because I will be having a Hydrangea Hill class that is going to be, registration is going to open up this Friday. It's part of my catalog launch, which happens Friday night at 7 p.m. Central. And we are going to be looking at all the new things in the catalog. I've got some new product. Hopefully it's going to be in, I'm thinking by tomorrow night. And this is one of the classes that I'm going to be offering in May because it is my Stampiversary. I'm going to be having some extra special things for class kits this month and ordering specials. So yeah, you'll have to join me on Friday, May 7th at the catalog kickoff party right here on Facebook. So yeah, join us for that. If you haven't, go ahead and like my page and join the Facebook group, the My Stamp Studio group. It is free. There's no commitment to do it. It's public. So go ahead and join. That way you're notified of when I am doing events. Also, this is going to be uploaded up onto YouTube. So the project that we're doing is this really cute card. So on YouTube, if you're watching the replay, please go ahead and click on subscribe. If you haven't done that before, it's that little red button down below. And also just share some love. Send me some love that you've liked these videos. It helps me know what things to bring and share with you. And as always, if you wish to place an order, you can do so. The ordering information will be in the descriptions below. Also, if you are not currently on my email subscriber list, I will have a link below as well for you to join that. That way you'll get a weekly email. I'll tell you about some of the upcoming events and specials and projects, and sometimes I throw in some free tutorials in there. So make sure you sign up for my email list. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and let's get started on this card. So the products that we are going to be using are the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. Now this comes 12 by 12. However, I have chopped it down to 6 by 12. This is what I actually mail out for my class kits because there's so many awesome designs in here. There's just a wide variety to choose from. So the pattern paper that I'm using today is going to be this piece, and on the back it has Seaside Spray and lovely little blues. Seaside Spray has retired. However, you can use Misty Moonlight, stamp off, and you'll get a very similar blue, so it all coordinates together. And I'm going to also be using some of our pastel pearls. This is also going to be included in the Hydrangea Hill class, and we'll be using the gorgeous grape sheer ribbon, also included in that class. And the next thing we'll be using, let me go ahead and grab out all my little parts and pieces here. I've actually taken the time to cut everything down so that I didn't have to show you in the video. So I have a piece of gorgeous grape. Don't you just love this purple? It is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So just take a balloon folder there and just give it a good crease. All right. Now the next step we're going to do is we're going to bring in our paper piercing mat because I'm using a photopolymer stamp set. And let me show you what that stamp set looks like. It is phenomenal. It is really pretty, and especially with the designer series paper, I just love it. So these words are a little bit bigger, so they look pretty small here, but they are bigger. When you open up the stamp kit here, the stamp case, you can see that there are like 2 sets of stamps that come in here. So it is a huge amount of stamps. There are actually 22 stamps in this stamp set. So I'm using this largest detailed flower, so you can see it that way. And I am just going to take my Gorgeous Grape stamp pad here. And I just need to open up my chamois so I can clean my stamps as we go. And if you're wondering, I tend to store my chamois in just one of the clear cases. It works wonderful. It keeps it moist for a while so that when you go to clean, you don't have to get it wet every single time. And as I get yucky, yeah, you will have to replace them eventually. They do stain a little bit, but that ink doesn't transfer to your stamp pads. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to ink up and actually I'm going to take my ink pad to my block. It's such a large block and kind of awkward to hold, so that's why I like to go ahead and bring this in. All right, get that all inked up there, and I am just going to start to randomly stamp this flower on the background. I'm going to give it a good press to make sure it's all getting transferred, and it is a very light detailed image. And I'm going to slowly work my way around the cardstock. And I am going off the cardstock a little bit. Right. And I do like to turn my cardstock as I go. It makes it easier than trying to turn that big block. It's kind of awkward for your wrist. Sometimes I turn my wrist, but for the most part, I do it this way. All right, and I think we'll try to figure out which way I want to go with this. See how I said turning that block is kind of awkward? All right, we're going to stamp this one right here. Again, I'm just going to keep going around and just filling up this background. It's just adding a little depth to the card. So let's go ahead and put that one here. And I know I only need this top part here to get down on my lower part of my card, so I'll stamp it there. And I'll do another little bit over here. And I think we'll add in some of, going back this way again, some of the leaves. Just trying to look how I can fill in this spot over here. Pretty much this is going to be covered, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So let's see, let's just get the, yeah, let's go right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that off. All right, the next thing I have here is a piece of, I slid all my pieces out, basic white, and this measures 4 by 3. Okay. And then I have a piece of Designer Series paper. Remember, it comes in 12 by 12. I've been cutting it down, so I have a 3 by 3 square that I'm just going to end up adhering to the top of this. But before I do that, I want to stamp my sentiment. And the sentiment I'm going to be using is, I appreciate all the little things that you do. I have 4 Mother's Day cards, well, you know, special women cards to send out, as well as some birthday cards. So I'm going to be using this design quite a bit in the next day or so. All right. And I'm going to just stamp this right at the bottom, just like that. And again, I'm using the Gorgeous Grape. You could use Mossy Meadow. That's the other stamp pad that we're going to be using. But I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered right away, so this is kind of out of my way. So I'm going to take my 3 by 3 square here. I'm just adding some adhesive. You can use your adhesive of choice. I like to use the liquid glue because that way I can make sure I have a little wiggle room. So when I'm putting it on here, I can make sure that I'm actually even with the edges like I need to be. And if I need to, I can just slide it just a little bit. All right, so the next step that we're going to take for the front part here is I'm going to take this gorgeous ribbon, and it is called Gorgeous Grape, but it is gorgeous. And I'm just going to simply tie a bow. So let me go ahead and grab my ribbon snips here. So whenever you're cutting ribbon, make sure you have a dedicated scissors or snips for that. Paper tends to wear down the sharpness of your snips, and you really want good sharp snips when you're cutting your ribbon. All right. So can you believe this card is almost done? If I can tie the bow. So bow challenge during a live event always happens because I tied so many in the last day or two. I should be able to tie this pretty well. Again, this ribbon is very sheer, so it is thin. It's a little harder to tie just because it's so thin, but it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your card, so that's why I love to use it. Go, and I'm just going to keep kind of adjusting my ribbon to be about the size bow that I want, because I don't have a lot stamped on here, a lot showing. I'm going to leave my bow a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to take my snips and give the tails a good trim. Oops, that one didn't cut very well. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for right now because I want to stamp the inside of my card. So we're going to take a piece of white, and this measures 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to use my same image that I did here before, this detailed image, and I am going to stamp it in Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to stamp it basically in full strength. Because it is such a detailed pattern, there's not going to be a whole lot of color on there. And I do kind of want some of that green to really kind of poke through. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that right there. Give it a good press just to make sure I'm getting it all even. There we go. That turned out phenomenal. Love it. I just love this card. It's so easy. So quick. I mean, the stamp sets do all the work for you. They make everything pretty for you. All right, so now there is this big bold image, just like that. Just a shadowy kind of image. So it's not going to be fully solid. There's going to be some areas that are light and dark. And I'm going to stamp that with our gorgeous grape. So I'll get this inked up. I am going to stamp off because this is a pretty dark color. If I were to stamp that right on there, it's going to be too dark for you to see that Mossy Meadow come through. All right, so now with this, it's not going to line up perfectly, but just kind of get the general shape of it. And go ahead and press it down. Again, you're going to have some light areas and some dark areas. So just like that. But you can see through and you can see that pattern. I am going to now take my leaf image. So I'm going to pull this piece off here. And in the kit here, in the stamp set, there is a kind of a shadow, a solid image. Again, this does have a little bit of a distinctive pattern, so it's not going to be a full dark color shape. So I'm just going to putz around until I get this on my block. I'm not really worried too much about the stem because that's going to go off. And I'm going to pull it back in my Mossy Meadow. We're going to go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to stamp it off. And now I'm just going to line up my, oh, and that really didn't stamp off well, so let me try this again. There we go. I'm going to just line up. I can see through the block to see where my darker detail lines are. So I can line this up. And again, it's not going to be perfect. It's not meant to be. Okay. But look at that pretty shadow it adds. So now there are a couple sentiments that you can use. So this does say, I appreciate all the little things that you do. You could put in, the world is better because of you, or to an incredible woman, or you make me smile. But I really want to give this to my mom for Mother's Day, and she's probably watching, so now she's going to see it. I'm going to grab the Timeless Tulip stamp set. One of my most favorite stamp sets. It is in the current catalog, so it is still available along with the Tulip Punch builder. And last week we had done, or the week before, we'd done a card with this one. So I'll make sure both of those videos are up on YouTube for you. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the Happy Mother's Day, but I'm also going to grab What a Beautiful Difference One Single Life Makes. So I've mounted both of those right here. And I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow again. And the reason I like to use that is it's a dark color. And it kind of stands out because I really didn't want black in here. So I'm just going to stamp it off to the side. Just like that. And now, just to add a little something to my inside here, I I don't want to bulk it out, so I really don't want to use any bling. I'm going to pull in this tiny little detail image here. So that's what I have mounted right here. And I'm going to grab my gorgeous grape. I'm going to stamp it off once before I stamp on here. And I'm just gently pressing on here. And I'm going to have these flowers. I'm going to go all the way up to the corner here. And I'm going to go off just a little bit. There we go. So I just thought it adds a nice little something to the card. Okay, I'm going to close up these stamp pads because I am done stamping. We're going to go ahead and adhere this to the inside of our card. So I'll get our paper piercing mat out of the way. And the paper piercing mat is available in the new catalog. Hey, and if you don't have a new catalog, or if you don't have a demonstrator and would like a catalog, just let me know. I do have a registration link available, and I will put that in the description so that you can go ahead and request one. And what I do is I do charge $10 for shipping and handling. But if you place an order within 30 days of requesting a catalog, you're going to get that $10 back. Okay, so now I've got the inside done, and I want to just add this to the front. So what I'm going to do to give this a little something is I'm actually going to, again, pull in my dimensionals, and I'm just going to add them around. So it pops up my card. But the other reason I'm doing this is I'm going to be adding some pearls to this. And the pearls that we're using, those pastel pearls, are pretty thick. They stand up pretty high. So I like to have this on there. So as I'm putting them on, I'm grabbing my Take a Pick tool here. I'm using the spatula end. A lot of times I'll use the putty end to do this. But I'm going to go ahead and just grab some of these. On my original card, I used the kind of these lighter blue ones. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll use the, I don't know, I guess we'll try the purple ones. Let's see how those look. So I'm just going to put a couple randomly on here. And I just might actually mix them up a little bit. Put a couple different colors on there. Why not? We have them, right? You want to use your supplies. I just love how, I call this bling. I just love how this actually just pops and gives your card a little something. And you don't have to do a lot to do the work. Okay, so there we go. So there is our card. Now, if I'm going to mail this, I'm going to want to take a sheet of like my printer paper and just put it over the top before I insert it into the envelope. Because, like I said, these do stick up pretty high. You want to make sure that you have something over the top. So that is today's card. Let me just bring in the card that we did the other week using that terrific tulips, timeless tulip stamp set. So here was the other Mother's Day card that we did as a fun fold. So thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this quick little lunch break. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. Take care.